If those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick Timpano. I'm the owner of Fortune Title. This is my building and my company. This was set up by my daughter, Nicole Platt. Some of you might know her. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight. She has enough of a respiratory infection, and I'm staying far away from her. It's like, I don't want to get sick. And tonight we have Laurel Bernstein, who's going to speak about whatever she's going to speak about. Okay? We are filming it, so if you yell out, it'll be okay. You know, if you have any questions during it, just speak out. Okay, Laurel, the floor is yours.
All right, well, this was a great opportunity. It was meant to be a shared open house to showcase a business that has brick and mortar and a business that doesn't, which is mine. I'm an executive coach. My name is Laurel Bernstein. And so Nicole and I decided a couple of months ago that we would showcase our businesses together. And I promised her yesterday that I would do her portion justice, just the way she would. Now, for those of you that know Nicole, and many of you do, you know that what she was going to say was from the depths of her genuine heart. So when I read what she wrote, I want you to hear her voice and see her energy and her excitement and her thoughtfulness that all went into what she wanted to say tonight. But before I read what she wrote, there's a special shout out tonight that I'm going to start with. The last minute, she sent me an email and she said, "Oh, I almost forgot. Barry Marullo, my neighbor, is coming to the open house tonight. Make sure you introduce him because he's a really good guy. He's a very, very, very good worker. And he is looking for an opportunity. So Barry, please raise your hand, and I want everybody to make sure that you meet Barry because Nicole wants you to." Hi, Barry. She said he's smart, he's highly valued at his company, and we would be a great asset to anyone. So then she sent me an email with her presentation. She said, "I want to talk to you today about relationships and how creating and maintaining positive relationships and ridding yourself of negative relationships can help to transform your business." 2012 was a very difficult year for Fortune Title. There were factors at play in the industry that led to a freeze of cash flow and a huge loss of our income. We had to go through 2 rounds of layoffs and reduced our staff from 27 to 17. Those of us who were left took additional cuts through reduced salary or reduced hours. It was a very difficult time for all involved, and at the same time, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to us. I could talk for hours about all the amazing things that evolved from the circumstance we were in. But today, I want to focus on 2 main things. One is the transformation that occurred with my staff. We have a very special relationship with our employees. They are part of our family. These are personal relationships, and we don't take them lightly. This made the layoffs that much more difficult. We had to let go people who had been with us from the beginning, even actual family members, including my husband, my mother, and my brother. But we had to do what was necessary to survive the situation. We kept only the core members of the company, those people who could get the job done and also had the attitude required to get through this. We let go anyone whose job was no longer quite necessary or had a negative energy about them. We knew how critical it was to make sure we had positive people left with the drive to survive. We were determined to get through this. We banded together and discovered a dynamic that had never been present so strongly before. Those of us who were left, filled with belief, determination, and strong positive attitude, we cross-trained each other, helped each other, and through that we were able to pull through. It brought to light how valuable the presence of positive energy and lack of negative energy was. The absence of the pot stirrers and the naysayers like having a weight lifted off our shoulders. It allowed us to achieve so much more than we ever had before. It taught us the true value of our culture, and when the tides turned and we were able to start hiring again, we made sure that we only brought back those people that had a positive spirit. It's inspiring how much more we're able to accomplish because everyone is so focused on the goal, on helping each other, and not distracted by the petty dramas that negative attitudes can cause. Our productivity levels have never been higher, and we have never been happier. We were forced to clean house due to our financial situation, but I'm so glad that we did. Now, when we hire, we make it very clear that having a positive attitude, fitting with our culture, is equally important, if not more than, their ability to get the job done. You can train job skills, but you can't train personalities. The second thing that was brought to light that year was the true value of positive relationships with our vendors. We have always cared deeply for all those we work with. If it weren't for the services they provide us, we would not be able to properly serve our clients. I look at these relationships more as partnerships than client-vendor relationships. I consider my vendors as part of my company. When we discuss the products we receive from them and negotiate new packages, I don't just look at what is the benefit for me, but always consider the benefit for them as well. I want to make sure that no matter what the situation is, we are both mutually benefiting from it. We have a strong bond, and it was these bonds that also enabled us to get through 2012. When I said that we had a huge loss of income, I really mean it. Each month, we barely made payroll, and the only reason we did was because we were not paying our bills. Our vendors, which were historically always paid currently, built up to being 6 months of tables behind. I was very upfront with my vendors, and every month I explained our situation and what was going on. I sent as much as I could, but I never had enough. I had one vendor that got very abrasive and aggressive with us. Although I gave them very detailed explanations of our cash flow and was sending as much as I could, it was never enough for them. On the other hand, all my other vendors were very much more understanding. They knew our history, they trusted us, and they stood by me. I terminated the relationship with that abrasive vendor and moved the work to my other vendors. Even though at that point I still wasn't able to make full payments, they took my additional work, still gave me exceptional service, and never pressured me or made me feel bad. Every month I would apologize for the size of my payments and explain our situation and any changes that might have occurred. Every month they told me not to worry, that they understood, and they would see us through. There are several people here from my largest vendor Signature Information Solutions. And I would like them to raise their hands so everyone can see them.
I can't.
I want to thank them so much for what they did. Out of all our vendors, we far owe you the most. I cannot express how much your support, service, and character means to me. You are exceptional, and I appreciate everything you have done and continue to do for us. Our relationship is a critical factor to my company's success, and I want you to know how highly I value it. Don't ever underestimate the relationship you have with your vendors. Appreciate them as much as your own business, because it's only together that you can be truly successful. In the end, the moral of both stories is the same. Nurture the positive relationships in your business and your life. Eliminate or transform the negative relationships. And I guarantee you will find success if you do. Nicole is a really special person. She is so forthcoming. She is so friendly. She has so much energy. And you can feel her in the space. I really appreciate that she wanted to share this wonderful event and give you all an opportunity to network and meet each other. And I'm delighted to be here tonight. I just want to also do a shout out to the caterers. Gail, raise your hand, and Lisa. The name of the caterer is More So. There are cards on the top of every shredder. So if you like what you ate, please help yourself to a card. This is only a tiny sample of what they can do. Their stuff is delicious. As a matter of fact, right now, they have 75 macaroons waiting for me for my Passover Seder that I can't wait to get my hands on. And their food is wonderful, as you can see. So tonight, I wanted to give you something for your business, not just give you the opportunity to have a little light dinner and some networking. I wanted to give you some business ideas that you could leave with that I thought are really important. And I've left these on top of the shredders. If you want to take one with you, you can laugh at what I did. What I did was I numbered them 1 to 7, then I copied and pasted, and I copied and pasted, and I printed them out, and I cut them apart, and so the second time I copied and pasted, it started with 8, and then it started with 15. So you have all different numbers on the original 7. So the first thing that you want to remember when you're in business is that there's a difference between strategy and tactics. In your businesses, or in your work life, or in your workplace, if you are just doing tactical things, you're not doing business. And I'm going to give you an idea of what the difference is. It's when you decide you have to pay your bills. Okay? This is just an example. You look at your checkbook, you see how much money you have, or you go online and you check your balance, and you look at all of the things you have to pay, and you're planning out what you're going to do. You're going to, okay, I'll give them a little less this month, I'm going to pay that one in full. This one can wait 2 weeks because it's not due until the 31st. That one can go, that has a grace period. That is strategy. Strategy is the ideas, the thinking that goes into bill paying. That's what you need to be doing with your workplace or your business. If you're doing the actual check writing, which is the tactics, all the time, you're not strategizing for your business. So think strategy is the idea and tactics is the hands-on. You need to be strategic part of the time. Otherwise, you don't know where you're going. The second one seems kind of obvious, but I want to point something out to you about don't gossip. When somebody comes to you and says, oh, so-and-so told me that you just went to Jamaica.
Yeah, it's just there.
So, you think to yourself, who was that? Why were they talking about me? That eats away at trust. Gossip is the end of trust. And so in business, you don't talk about one vendor to another. You don't talk about one client to another. You don't talk about one customer to another. You don't talk about one colleague or coworker to another, because I guarantee it's going to come back and bite you. And you may never have known you were bitten. You might just go from 100 to 97% of the trust. And it'll get whittled away and whittled away and whittled away, and you'll never be at 100% again. Number 3, success is not a wish. I wish I could earn $1 million. I wish I could get this client. I wish I could make this happen in my work life. It isn't going to happen unless you have a plan. Success is not a wish, it's a plan. Anything that's successful was well planned, I assure you. Number 4, if you're talking, you're not listening. All right? And there's 3 different ways this can happen. I'm talking to a room full of people right now, and I think that most of the time when they're going like this, they're listening. But maybe they're going, I have to pick up my dry cleaning. They tuned you out a long time ago. If you're thinking of what you're going to say next, and you have a story to top it, or you're even going to agree, and you're planning what you're saying, you're not listening. If you're talking and planning, you're not listening. And you're missing a lot of things you need to know about your business. Number 5, change something every day. I went to a very large conclave for the Women's Initiative for Networking and Success. And the president of the McGraw-Hill companies got up to the microphone and he said, the world changed today. It changed a lot. And if you haven't changed something today, you're a day behind. Things are changing around you. You can't, it's almost like quicksand. You have to listen, you have to be aware, and you have to promise yourself every day you're going to do something a little different. Otherwise it's going to be boring, and you're going to be left in the dust. No assumptions. Assumptions are a bad thing. And I'm going to give you an example of how assumptions are a very bad thing. I'm reading a wonderful book for a book club. It's entitled Unbroken. It's about survival in the Pacific Ocean during the Second World War. The writing is lyrical. It's beautiful. I picked up the book on Tuesday night at about 8:30, and at 4:30 in the morning, I had to put it down because my eyes were closing. I didn't get up to set the alarm, and I fell asleep with the book on me, and I opened my eyes, and it was 9:38, and I had an 8 o'clock client.
Oops.
First, she thought I was in the hospital. Then she thought I had an accident. And then, she had 97 assumptions. She forgot me. she doesn't like me anymore, maybe I had the wrong calendar date. She had assumptions from this end to this end, and they were all wrong. There wasn't one single assumption that was right, because all I did was oversleep. And then later on, after I apologized and said, I'm sorry I overslept, I read this wonderful book, she went and got the book. And she called me at 4:30 in the afternoon and she said, I didn't go to work today. No assumptions. The last is, imagine the possibilities. The problem with trying to imagine the possibilities is our imagination sometimes has limitations and we don't always see the possibilities. So we have to be open to them. What recently happened for me is I got a contract to have a career center in a large pharmaceutical company that was letting go 6,800 people. And so every Wednesday morning, I was delivering a workshop for these people because some of them had worked there for 17, 18, 30 years. And they were coming to the workshop to get some idea about how to look for a job. And it's a 13-month contract, and the third week I walked in, there were 17 or 18 people in the room, and I'm allowed to have up to 35 people in the room. And I realized when I was standing there that if I had to deliver this one more time, it was boring to me, and I felt bad for these people. And it was the same melancholy and depression and sorrow and worry about age and, oh my God, how am I going to make it until next January? And I went home that day, and my expectation was I'm just going to have to do it. I wasn't imagining the possibilities. So I walked in, and I said to my son, if I have to do this one more time, I'm just going to kill myself. And he said, let me come with you. Maybe I'll give you some ideas about how to do it differently. Maybe you can have some fun with it. My son's an industrial psychologist, so he works with people in organizations and in their careers. So I kind of value his ideas, but sometimes he's a little harsh. He came with me and he watched. And on the way home in the car, he said, how about next week I deliver the workshop? No way. This is the fellow who is now 34. When he was 15, he was a jerk. You know, I'm going to let him in front of a pharmaceutical company where I have a year-long company. Not going to happen. He said, come on, you'll be in the back of the room, and you can raise your hand or interject or stop me. I'll do a good job. I said, all right. Well, I had no expectations whatsoever. We got there. He got in front of the room, 17, 18 people, and within 10 minutes on a 2-hour workshop, he was off script. But I forgot about the script because he was really having a good time, and he had these people really engaged and talking. And he was so focused on what they were thinking and what they were feeling, and he was being really helpful. And on the way home in the car, he said, how about you let me do it? Imagine the possibilities if I had said, no, you can't. I'll just do it. Because I couldn't imagine the possibilities. So please understand that imagining the possibilities is not about thinking through what the possibilities could be, but instead knowing when they show up and embracing them openly and accepting them for what they are. Many times they're different. Well, there's a PS to this story. I was getting 17, 18 people a week, and by the way, my contract is for set amount plus per person. He's getting 35 a week with a waiting list of 10.
Wow.
And the word is out that they want to go to this seminar. Imagine the possibilities. So now I want to invite you to network a little more, have a little more to eat. And I want to thank you so much for coming and allowing us to showcase our businesses.
I just want to say something, thank you. That was excellent. Sorry my daughter couldn't be here. She probably would cry.
I know.
I had a tear. I had a tear. She's my daughter. She's phenomenal. You know, having possibilities and thinking about where things can go, ending up on what she said was, when my daughter came into the company, she just wanted to run the company. Daddy, can I run your company? Daddy's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, right. You take a crack at it, see how easy it is. And she kept coming up with ideas and running them by me. And I kept saying, really? You want to change that? Another change? Another change? A change every day? You know, and she did. She's phenomenal. I am just flabbergasted by her. You know, I'm turning over half the business to her. She's going to take over. She has dreams and possibilities of where this business is going to go, way beyond what I ever thought. I'm surprised I'm as far as I am. You know, and everybody and all my vendors love it because of me. Okay, my personality. But she has it. She is definitely a chip off the old block. She's amazing. If she was here, she would love to hear me say this because I never tell her. It's on film now. I forgot I was saying. Man, I didn't mean that. But she's a wonderful girl. She saved us a ton. Without her innovative way of reworking the business, we wouldn't have made it as far as we did before we got behind. You know, it was a freak in the business that happened, something that doesn't happen. And I'm proud to say that we're no longer 6 months out. We're up to 60 days out. Our projection was by the end of this year to be close to catch up. We're way ahead of our projections. It's phenomenal. My employees are amazing. They really did turn around when I asked them to give up and struggle with me. It wasn't like, you know, oh, I kept my salary and I just did what I wanted to do. It's like I cut my salary in half. I actually laid off my wife, my son, and my son-in-law. I had to do what I had to do to make business work. I mean, it was that close to where we were afraid that something wasn't going to go. But I know the business and I know what was going on. And I knew that eventually we'd be where we are today, where we're exponentially making money. It's just coming. Our business has increased to a point where I'm back to hiring again. I got 25, I'm looking for more. I can't keep up anymore. You know, it's just what happened in the business, in the industry, and there was that lag, and it was next month, next month, next month. You know, we went as far as we could, borrowing and spending and personal life money going everywhere we could, to where when I approached my employees and asked them to chip in and help, that they were there, you know, and it was amazing. And now it's like, this place is just, it's one big happy family, you know, and my business becomes a family-run business, and it is family. I mean, every one of my employees, even the new ones, you know, I have a girl who's been with me 4 months. She just got engaged. I'm like, I'm jumping up and down. Yeah, what's the wedding? Let's go, come on, come on. You know, I'm happy for her, but, you know, she was happy to tell me that she got engaged, which was great. It's really a good feeling. Signature has been, like, phenomenal with us. You know, we go back a ways. You know, what can I say? Thank you guys. You know, and thank you guys for coming. And I hope you get something out of this and go out with a positive attitude on how good it is to just be nice to people. You know, it goes a long way. Kindness goes very far. Now, eat, drink, and be happy. Yeah. Okay, you can cut. Yeah, figure out how to shut it off?
Nope.